Hey there, boys and girls of YouTube world. Today, the Duff Dog and I are see if we can't get this 1969 Camaro coupe running for the first time in 32 years. That's right, this thing has been off the road since 1993. And unfortunately, 1993 doesn't seem like 32 years ago, but I did the math and it's 32 years ago. If you follow the channel, you'll know that I got this 1969 and that 1970, along with a 1969 convertible and a Thunderbird Sports Roadster, all out of a package deal. These two cars were inside of a barn along with the Thunderbird that had collapsed. These cars were a couple of brothers' high school cars. They don't want them anymore, so here we are. This thing's got some great options. It's got a V8 instead of a 6-cylinder. It's got an automatic. Should be a 4-speed. It'd be a lot cooler if it was.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
It's got white letter tires. White letters facing out, of course, and it's got wire wheel hubcaps. It's also got a vinyl top, Kenwood speakers, and a whole lot of broken glass. But other than a little bit of rust in the quarter panels, it is surprisingly solid. So my plan for this car is get it running, get a fuel system that works, get some exhaust works, ignition, brakes, get some wheels and tires on it, maybe some torque thrust, maybe some slots, maybe some daisies, who knows, but the wire wheels gotta go. Maybe we'll put some dog dishes on it. Maybe we'll put trailer wheels on it. I don't know, but wire wheel hubcaps just don't do it for me. Maybe we'll put some chrome reverses on it, but long term, I want a fastback roof on it. That's right, this is a 1969 Mustang fastback. This is a factory 428 4-speed car. It is an R code, maybe it's Q code. I don't remember. It's the big dog. And I want to put this roof on that car because that's all about all that's here is a roof. And because there's rust in the quarters are different because Mustang things. So we need new quarters anyway. So we might as well just graft a roof on it and then put quarters on it. And then we'll make it a fastback. But that's further down the road because we got to get this thing running and driving before we do that. Fortunately, there's an 06 Dodge with a couple of dead batteries in front of it. So let's get that thing running first, get that out of the way, and then we'll grab Bernie or the rollback or something and get this thing shoved in the shop. It is a gorgeous day out. Duff wishes that we were out chasing some birds, but we got to make some content for you guys. So let's get this thing in the shop and get to work. We would definitely lose the shop if we were hunting every time that Duff wanted to go hunting. 2 batteries, that means 2 jumper packs. We're gonna get her with 1. Tell you what, we got things to do. Let's hook them both up. Come on, Cummins. Now we'll just go ahead and leave that idle for the rest of the day so that it charges up. No! Son of a... What is your problem? Probably the fact, 9 to 22, those aren't even that old. Did they freeze? Probably. Frickin' batteries. Is it gonna start with 1, Duff? No. Guess we're gonna drive it just like this. Before I drive away, if you are a Cummins / Dodge person, or just an alignment individual, or know things about wheels and tires and alignments, what's wrong with this pickup? Look at those tires. They just go like that, from left to right, front to back. Is that ball joints, kingpins, wheel bearings? Both front tires are doing that. This thing just hums going down the road. And it's probably not the fact that they're fierce attitudes with the barbed wire on them and the white letters. That's what it is. We got white letters out. That's why they're wearing funny. But seriously, if you know what's causing that, let me know. Usually toe in wears here, and toe out wears here, but these things are this way and this way. All right, back to your regularly scheduled shenanigans. Also, why do new tires suck? These things are not that old and they're all dry rotted and cracked. No, we're not going for an RIDE. We're just moving this blue piece of crap out of the way so we can get at that blue piece of crap. If you move this ahead, I'll go get Bernie or something. Oh yeah, it's a Dodge, so we gotta put it in neutral for a while because the pump has morning sickness, and then we gotta let the fluid pump around for a little bit, and then we put it in gear, and then it moves. Ooh, listen to that turbo. Woo woo! Rub-bub!
When you want to woo woo, it's that woo woo.
So the story I got on this car from the gentleman that I bought it from was that he had 2 of these Mustangs and he had 2 boys, and they restored the cars together as part of a father-son bonding experience. And then his sons drove the cars through high school. And then when they went off to college, they stashed the cars away for a rainy day and never got back to them. And that's where we ended up with these cars. One's a 69, one's a 70. They're both coupes, both automatics, both disc brake, both 302 two barrels. So almost the same cars, even both blue. But that's the story I got from them. They bought them as kind of projects, or anyway, they restored them together, father and son, and these were his boys' high school cars. And then they sat in the barn. Barn fell on them. Boys didn't want them anymore, so now we got them. Always tie your car down, kids, even if it is a Mustang. Don't fall off the bed. Chain stayed hooked. Stay back there. Stay hooked. Stay hooked. So I want to face it forward, so ideally we would have loaded it backwards, but we couldn't get at the back of the car because I got too much junk. I know, too much stuff, Duff. Too many cars. Seems like it rolls pretty good. Let's see if we can't push it in. And by we, I mean me and I, and myself, and not Irene. Duff's not gonna be much help. Not a sledding dog, he's a hunting dog. Seemed like it rolled pretty good. Come on, baby. Huh. Get that speed up. It's all uphill from here. Uh-oh. Oh, we got traction now. Oh, yeah. That's a good workout in the quads, the calves. I'm gonna need a cold refreshment now. All right, she's in here. It's 3:30. We got time for one quick walk. So Duff and I are gonna go look for some birds. We'll probably see you guys tomorrow because I'm gonna spend all night cleaning all the birds we get. Yeah, just what I want to do is go do some more walking. No pheasants, but it wasn't Duff's fault. I'm glad he doesn't laugh at me like the dog from Duck Hunt on Nintendo. You want to open this hood for me now? Maybe we'll go pheasant hunting again? Okay, I'll do it because you don't like Mustangs either. So like I said, 302, it's 2-barrel, doesn't have headers. It's got power steering, power brakes. This is a disc brake car. Looks like everything's there except our battery, so that's probably where we should start. Throw a battery in it. It's got the keys. We crank it over, see if it turns. Looks like we got a little mousy house action going on here in the old hood latch. Duff loves mice. It's probably a good way to, we should get a pliers. That's a lot of poop. Good way to rot out the hood on your Mustang too. It'll be a good excuse to get the fancy hood for our car, not the regular flat hood. What do they call them? The ram hair hood? I feel like ram hair was a Pontiac name. The grabber hood? Is that what Ford called theirs? Hopefully the mice just lived under the hood and not in the car. Wishful thinking. Finally get it all? Yeah, right. Time for the pneumatic relocation package. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. You want to put that hantavirus in the air so that it can't get in your lungs. God, I hate mice. Hantavirus. Ugh, tastes like it even. Before we throw the battery in there, let's check the dipstick, make sure it's got some oil in it. He did say that these cars were running and driving fine, ran when parked, so we shouldn't have any issues getting this thing running after 32 years. Well, it's full and it's black, so it should be good enough. Looks like those nasty mice had their way with my heater hose. Let's see if they made a home in the air cleaner as well. I got a feeling it's gonna be packed. Oh, just a couple of turds. Here's our glorious 2-barrel Autolite. Let's see if it's free. Freedom! Freedom! Nice. You've got a reman tag on it. It's got the automatic choke, points ignition, all the good stuff. Paleo Man 52 is our battery sponsor this week. You too can be a battery sponsor at mortske.com. Guess now we turn the key, see if it turns over. You know what, before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and snip the fuel hose coming from the fuel tank so we don't pump any fuel out of the fuel tank that's been there since, I don't know, the first Bush administration, probably, 1993. I don't know, I was like 8 years old. So I don't remember who the president was. Alexa, who is the president in 1993?
The President of the United States from January 20th, 1993 to January 20th, 2001 was Bill Clinton.
I was way off. Alexa said it was Bill Clinton from 93 to 2001. Oh, dirty Bill. Boy, that was a while ago. That looks like our fuel hose we got to cut. I wonder what old Monica's up to these days. It's probably hard for her to hold a job after that, or a conversation. I'm sure she's done just fine for herself. Well, ooh, there's fuel there. It might not be fuel, but it's something that's moist anyway, and we don't want that going into our carburetor or valve train, so glad we unhooked that. It does smell lovely, though. All right, let's see if it turns. So many mouse turns. That doesn't sound good. I think we're gonna have to look at some connections. Also, the shifter and or the neutral safety switch needs some adjustments. You gotta hold a head on the shifter to get it to crank over, but let's go ahead and just bypass all that stuff and go straight to the solenoid, see if we can't get this thing cranking over and figure out where our bad connections are at. And both of these battery cables got the bolt-on battery cable ends, which Watch West Work doesn't like. And that guy knows things, and he's way smarter than probably all of us combined. So let's just go ahead and throw some new battery cables on this thing because I plan to keep this thing around. There will be a price and availability in the video description if you want to save this car before I cut the roof off. It's not going to be cheap because it's pretty hard to find a solid 69 Mustang coupe, but if you want to own this thing and save me from cutting it up, that'd be great. And if you want to give me enough money so that I can just go buy a 69 fastback, that'd be greatly appreciated. Here's why we're replacing these battery cable ends. They're bolt-on ends, and humidity, moisture, all that good stuff gets in there. And then the inside of your cable gets all green like that. Check this out, though. Got the Mondo copper end crimped down to a little 6-gauge wire or 4-gauge, whatever it is. Just smash her flat. Let's see if it cranks over a little better now. Now let's see if she cranks over better. Why would it not turn over? Bad ground. That's great. Now we got nothing. Let's do some diagnosing. Let's test our ground. Well, our ground should be good, and our battery should have power. We got power to the solenoid. When we hit our switch, we got power there. Yep. But when we hit our switch, we don't have power to the other side of the solenoid. Let's check to see that our solenoid is grounded. It is. Well, we're getting power to the solenoid. We got a good ground to the solenoid. We're getting a signal to the solenoid, but it's not cranking over. So it's got to be the solenoid, right? Let's try this new solenoid out. Here goes nothing. It's not turning over real well. Which could mean several things. We got a bad starter, bad connection, bad battery, or we could have an engine that's potentially stuck. I think we're gonna lift it up in the air and we'll put a bar in the crankshaft and see if we can't get it to turn over by hand. Let's take a look at the bottom side of this hot rod while we got her up in the air. I think they schmucked up that valance and that headlight surround before they parked it. Might have to do a little body work on the old valance. The headlight surround is pot metal or pewter, so I don't know if there's any fixing that. Looks like we're gonna need a headlight as well. How many approaches do you suppose they sent this thing over? There's the disc brakes. Everything looks good. The oil pan's got a couple dings in it, nothing crazy. This control arm took a pretty good blow at one time, however. Might have to get some tubulars to put on there for all the racing we're gonna do, you know, roundy round car stuff. Kind of looks like that took a shot as well, the strut rod up here. I always thought it was interesting on these strut rods how they had the nut back here and then the jam nut way back here with a cotter key through it. I don't know. It's the only time I've ever seen that design. The good news is we can get right at the crank pulley. What kind of filter did they put on it back in the day? A Monkey Ward. Dang. I don't know that we've ever had a Montgomery Ward filter come through the shop. We interrupt your regularly scheduled shenanigans to bring you this Mortske Minute. This Mortske Minute is on Montgomery Ward, also known as Monkey Ward. It was started by Aaron Montgomery Ward in 1872 as a mail order catalog. At one point, they were mailing out over 3 million catalogs weighing 4 pounds a piece. Montgomery Ward is kicking butt until 1896 when Sears and Roebuck stepped in and gave them its first serious competition. In the first 50 or so years, they were mail order only, but by 1926, they built their first brick and mortar store. And just 2 years later, in 1928, they had well over 200 stores open. By 1929, they had 531 outlets open. During World War II, in April of 1944, after an 8-month strike by its employees, Franklin D. Roosevelt took over all of Montgomery Ward and reopened it. But in 1945, Harry S. Truman turned everything back over to Montgomery Ward. However, that kind of started the downfall. After the war, they didn't open any new stores. They didn't stick any money into them. They were trying to save all their cash so that they could buy out their competitors, planning on having a recession, which never came after World War II. And that eventually led to the downfall. As we all know, the Targets and Walmarts took over, and by 2001, Montgomery Ward was dead. And yes, there is a new Montgomery Ward that is available, but it has no relation to the original Montgomery Ward. So there you go. Everything you wanted to know in the 120 some odd year history of Montgomery Ward. Now back to your regular scheduled shenanigans. There's the power steering, which is unfortunately the Ram Assist style, but I guess that's what we're gonna have to deal with. I'm guessing that's our C4 automatic transmission. Looks like we got some single exhaust and it's in good shape at least. Floors seem solid, rockers are solid. It's got, you can tell by the way that it is.
You can tell that it's
An 8-inch.
because of the way it is.
You can get at all of the hardware with a socket. Only the big boy Mustang's got the 9-inch. Here's the one area of rust. I don't know what they call this, the torque box or the crush box or what, but basically there's a flat plate that goes over the top of that that's rusted off, which I don't know how you would have got in to get this fuel hose disconnected if that was there, but anyway, there's some damage, a little bit of rust. Easy enough. Everything else structurally seems pretty good. There is a little bit of bubbling up there, but nothing I'm concerned about. This is the passenger side, and I'm guessing that's how they should look. There's a little bit of rust jacking there. You can see why they rot out, because all the dirt sits right in there. Rear spring mounts look good. Rear frame rails look perfect. Inner wheel wells look good. Got some fancy blue shock action going on there. Oh yeah, she'll be a good car. Rear valance has got a couple of whammies over here on the passenger side, but otherwise, pretty straight. Fuel tank ain't all banged up. That's pretty common. And the nice thing on these Fords is the sending unit is at the bottom side, so you can get access to it, and then you can clean out and drain the tank as well in one shot. What size socket's that? 15/16? Good guess. Here goes nothing. Uh-oh. Oh no. The nut's just turning. Not what you want to see. Alrighty.
Alrighty then.
Just what I wanted to deal with today. Stuck engine. Guess we pull some spark plugs, spray some Croil in it, and go from there. Ah, yes, the infamous Ford strut towers. They're definitely going to be in our way. Got some Motorcraft BF42Cs, and they look phenomenal. By they, I mean it. I've only removed one. And I can't use my special socket on either of these two spark plugs because of aforementioned strut tower. Just kidding. Oh, I can use it on the back one. That one looks really good as well. All four of the plugs on the passenger side look pretty decent. Not all rusty, like there's been a bunch of condensation in there, so that's a good sign. It's always a good sign when they match. That means the previous owner maybe took a little bit of care of it, and then also that it probably wasn't consuming oil and they were putting a spark plug in one cylinder all the time. And if they did, at least they were matching them.
Ruh-roh.
Ah, there's our problem child. Gross. So I believe Ford numbers them, starting at the passenger side, front cylinder, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to the driver's side, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so number 7 is pretty rusty. And by rusty, I mean full of water and wet. 6 has got a little bit of rust on it. I wonder how that got in there. Anyway, now let's hook the starter up and see what happens instead of doing the right thing and whatever that is, sucking all that water out of the cylinder or turning it over by hand. I feel like it turned earlier, so it moved a little ways, and then I suppose that water compressed, maybe? That's what I'm hoping. We'll find out if water blasts everywhere. Here we go. Nothing. Dang it. I guess now we gotta try it with the bar. If that doesn't work, then I guess we gotta pull the starter out. But let's throw some lube in the cylinder so we got these plugs out. Yeah, right. Silly shock towers. How's this gonna work? Oh. Yeah, that one's burbling right in the water that's in the cylinder. How did that get in there? Couldn't have come through the exhaust. Was the hood open on this thing when we found it? It had an air cleaner on it. Well, that one's the one that needs it, and it's not gonna do any good because it's full. Yeah, there's all the liquids that are running out of cylinder number 7, so that's what we're battling right there. And how are we gonna fix that, my friends? We're gonna overcome it with brute force and stupidity. Mostly stupidity. And we're gonna snap that nut off because of stupidity. Stupidity tells me that that's a bolt, not a nut. Fudge. I even sprayed the coil in there like they say to do on the internet. It should have just freed it right up. I guess let's take a starter off and see if we can't get a bar in there to turn it, because nobody gives a nice access hole to bar the flex plate over like GM does. What if we hole saw right into that bell housing? Wouldn't hurt my feelings any. Guess we're taking a starter off, because that's what I love doing. Taking starters off. Just love it. Who would have thought that I could make a living by removing and repairing starters and failing to get stuck engines running? Wow. What a time to be alive. Mismatched bolts holding the starter on? Imagine that. Who would have thought? Great. 3/8 bolt with a 1/2-inch head. Right, Ford guys? That's what it's supposed to be? Probably. Can't get a ratcheting wrench in there though. How about the old tried and true Craftsman box end? Oh yeah. This bad Mama Jam and I have removed many starters together. Why are things falling? Is that dirt? Is there a mouse house in here too? Why wouldn't there be? That's what Ford starter bolts should look like. 3/8 bolt with a 1/2-inch hex on it. Not a 9/16. Why is this sway bar not hooked up? Both sides? Both sides. Remind me to get some sway bar end links, folks, because this thing's gonna be just carving up the corners. I'm sure those will come with the tubular control arms we put on. No, I don't have tubular control arms ordered. I was so excited about this car. And then we got a stuck engine. Now we're moving a starter. And I'm still just super excited. So very excited. Fords and starters, Mustangs, so glorious. I really am blessed. Ooh, it's a Motorcraft. Look at that. Somebody put a reman Motorcraft on it. Oh, there it is, C8OE. So it's a 68 engine. Should be the right engine. Oh, the teeth are all ground off there. Hopefully that was not from me. Probably. We didn't get that many turns out of it, did we? Maybe the starter was just stuck and it wouldn't turn over. Could we be so lucky? Yeah, right. Fudge sickles. There we go. It's gonna go. I'm gonna make it. I really want to sawzall that bell housing or hole saw it. I'm gonna let you guys take in all the poopy water that comes out of cylinder number 7. Windsor diarrhea. Maybe I go this way? It really turns quite well. I don't know why this was such a problem. The bad news is a lot of the teeth on the starter look like they're from Oklahoma. Sweet home Oklahoma. If only there was a magic tool that you just slid in here that was 12-volt powered that turned the motor over so you didn't have to do it by hand. I would name it the electric starter. What was the guy's name that invented that? Ketterling. We should do a Mortske minute on the old Ketterling. We interrupt your regular scheduled shenanigans to bring you this Mortske minute on Charles F. Ketterling. And what did Charles Ketterling do? He had over 180 US patents, one of them being, you guessed it, the electric starter. He was the founder of Delco and also was the head of research and development at General Motors from 1920 through 1946. He also invented the wide application of colors to automobiles that was pretty much unknown of before. He invented Freon for air conditioning and refrigeration, and also leaded gasoline. So there you go. Now you know who invented it, the electric automobile starter, and many other things. Now back to your regular scheduled shenanigans. Okay, this thing turns over pretty good, but we are turning it backwards, so maybe when we turn it forward, it won't turn over so well. Let's just put the starter back on and find out. Definitely should have bench tested that starter before I put it back on. Let's see if we can't evict some rusty water. Please play well, starter. Oh, it worked until it didn't. Maybe if we give it a little boost. Here we go. Smells pretty good to me. Smells like vaporized coil, my favorite. Oh yeah. Let's overhaul that nasty Motorcraft spark plug. A little brake clean and that thing will be good as new. Since we don't have any spark plugs in this thing, it's gonna turn over a heck of a lot faster, so now is an opportune time to test for spark. So let's go ahead and pull the coil wire off and see if the points are doing points things after sitting for 32 years. We're just gonna go ahead and bypass the entire ignition system and run a jumper wire to the positive side of our coil. And hook the other side up to the battery. I didn't get any spark when I hooked it up, so that's usually not good. All right, we should have power to the coil. Let's see what happens. Let's not electrocute ourselves. Whole lot of nothing. You know what that means? It's time for the Mortske Flick. Get your Mortske Flick device at mortske.com. This one's even blue, Ford blue. We're working on a blue Ford today. Oh yeah, it's got the blue rotor in there, standard. Looks like freaking new. Man, it looks like it's got a brand new set of points in here. I'm pretty sure this was all gone through and hasn't been run. Take a look at this stuff. Zero corrosion or burn or dirt or anything on that rotor. Same thing on the cap. Looks like brand new. I don't think that was ever run. Points look nice and new. Maybe we're gonna find out why they parked this thing. Points look like new. It's got a new condenser. Maybe they parked it for a certain reason related to the ignition. We'll find out. Maybe it's a bad coil. It's never the coil, but it could be this time. Well, got ourselves a good old Scotch clip going into the ignition wire. I'm sure that wasn't helping anything. It also looks like the mice have since chewed it off. All right, gonna turn it over till the points are closed right there. We're gonna snap those points a couple times with the coil energized. Hopefully we get some spark. I can see spark there, and I can see spark jumping off our coil wire, going to our distributor hold down clip. Now let's see if we got spark when we crank it over with the loser switch. All kinds of spark. The Mortske Flick, 9 out of 10 YouTube mechanics recommend it, and that one mechanic doesn't know what they're doing. They probably use ATF and acetone to free up loose engines. Cool, we can put that all back together. That is strange that everything is brand new. We'll take it though. Let's thread these spark plugs back in, give this thing a shot of hot sauce, and see if she lights off for the first time in 32 years. Let's fill her up with a little hot sauce. All right, let's hook up the coil wire, see what happens. Slingshot engage.
Slingshot engaged.
Uh-oh. Yeah, come on, smooth out a little bit. I don't hear any valve train noise. The exhaust is amazingly quiet, but it's not very smooth. All the spark plugs looked all right. Maybe we got a wire chewed off? I wonder if we got a sticky valve. Well, I think we got ourselves a runner. Let's go ahead and dig into the fuel system so that we can run off something other than a bottle of hot sauce. Yeah, I think our furry little friends were in the exhaust system as well, judging by the looks of things. Let's disconnect this fuel hose and see what kind of disgustingness ensues. Oh, for cheese and Christ. Here we go. Well, the good news is there's not a full tank of nastiness, or it would have been running out by now. Oh, yuck. Check this out. Looks like the line's just full of crap. Yeah, I would say that's pretty plugged up. How much of that do you suppose is in there? Oh, it's... She's thick. Got the consistency of Play-Doh. Slide out of there like a big old turd. What is that even? It's a dangler. Dingleberries. You gotta get all them dingleberries. Oh man, it's like melted fuel line. How much of this are we gonna find? A lot. The answer is a lot. Let's go ahead and disconnect this fuel hose here and blow air into it and see if we can get air coming out of it. Yuck. I don't understand why there's fuel up here but not back there. Gross. Now my shop's gonna stink like that for a month. Where the heck is all this fuel coming from? I'm gonna take the blowgun and blow air through. Hopefully we get all the crud out of there. All right, here we go. Let's see some airflow. Oh, yummy.
Yummy!
Well, the good news is we can blow air through there. The bad news is I just sent a mist of bad gas and vapors and terribleness throughout the entire shop. It's everywhere, including the camera. Awesome. Let's take the old test long and check out the fuel tank. Well, it ain't looking very good, but I don't have another fuel tank, so we'll go ahead and get one on order. We'll just throw a couple extra fuel filters on it and run it for now. See what happens. Let's hook up this here clickety-clack and see if we can't pump some fuel out of this tank. I think it's empty enough for me. Let's see if we can't blow in it and get some pressure on the backside from fuel. And if we don't get any back pressure, then we know it's empty-ish. I hope this doesn't backfire into my mouth. Ugh. Ugh. Gagging already. Oh! Well, either there's fuel there, or this is plugged up, or what else could it be? I don't know. I can't blow through it. That or I don't have enough lung capacity. You know what it is? Remember how plugged up that fuel line was? This is plugged up too. I really didn't want to take the sending unit out because it's at the bottom of the tank, so if we don't get this resealed, it's gonna leak, but this tank is junk anyway. All right, let's take it out of there, and then we'll get a better look inside the tank, I guess. Maybe it's salvageable. They're also $89 at Jegs, the cheapest fuel tanks known to man, the Mustang. Oh, I swear if I tap this out and stinky gas gushes everywhere, I will burn this building down. I will find you, Henry Ford II. Who was the Mustang guy? Was that Lee Iacocca? I pry on the top side so the fuel's below my hand. How did Ford keep these from leaking? There we go. Oh, that should have broke the seal. Oh, I hate when you break the seal. Makes for a long Saturday night. Ew.
Ew.
Oh, is there a float still on it? Hey, the float's still there. The sending unit doesn't wiggle, so that's junk. What's it look like inside there? Top looks pretty decent. Let's run our finger over the bottom. Oh, there's definitely old varnish fuel in there and a whole lot of gravel. Yeah, we're going to Jegs and ordering a new one. How can you get a fuel tank for $90 and the sending unit is $60? Crazy. The other beautiful part about these Ford Mustang fuel tanks is that it's basically the trunk floor, so you don't have to take any fuel tank straps off. You just pop it right out of the trunk. So they did a good job on that. I suppose that's why they don't have the sending unit on the top, because it would be your trunk floor. They're kind of a neat fuel tank. They're interesting. They're different. They're very affordable. And a lot of guys use them in other applications, like they'll fit between the frame rails on your 67 to 72 Ford pickup. A lot of guys use them for that. 55 to 59 Chevy pickups, guys will use them for that, for their hot rods. Pretty neat setups. I'm sure you guessed it, but this was full of tar and varnish and whatever else as well. So was the sock. So we're just going to put it together without the sock. Should be good, right, Duff? Yeah. Hopefully we can get that seal to reseal. Got a new fuel hose from the sending unit to the line, and then that splice in the line over there. Now we're going to go ahead and put one of these cool plastic fuel filters. They're not really cool. The cool part is you can see what kind of garbage is collecting on them. But anyway, we're going to put one of these, instead of a steel one that you can't see through, right before the fuel pump, so that way we can see what the fuel pump's sucking up, and then we can see if the fuel pump's actually sucking up fuel and what we got going on. So it's a it's a visual aid. All right, let's put this up there. Why does it rattle? Who knows? Probably because it's already got crap in it. Let's see how much water got past our piston rings. Hopefully it doesn't look like the stuff that was in the fuel lines. Ooh, definitely looked like the stuff that was in the fuel lines. She's thick. Let's go ahead and swap out this Monkey Ward oil filter as well while we're at it. Ew, look at them blobs coming out of there. Gross. I've never seen so many big nasty chunks come out of an oil pan. Oh, here comes a big one. Big old turd, here we go. Push her out. Oh. High fiber diet for the old Windsor. Gross. Yummy.
Yummy.
We'll give her a little tune-up in a can here. Whoops, that didn't work. Look at that. Nasty. Yucky. I got a feeling we should run this and then drain oil and change it a few more times. Look at that stuff. What is going on? Is that what happens when you never change your oil? Maybe they ran Pennzoil or Quaker State. good way to find cuts on your hand. We're gonna dump some super thin, semi-synthetic 530 in there. That way it'll flush the system out when we remember to change the oil in like 3 years. The funnel doesn't even go into the valve cover. They got some, I don't know, rocker arm cover, breather, deflector or something. Not ideal. It's gonna take both hands and all of my concentrations. And I'm still gonna spill. Maybe not. Okay, let's not get our hopes up. Is there a different spot to dump oil in? This is pathetically slow. Hopefully remember to put the plug in. If not, we give it a pre-flush. $5 quarts, right? Sounds good to me. So now that we got a fresh oil change and a fresh fuel filter, let's throw some fresh gas and see if we can't get our fuel pump to pull it up into the fuel filter and get this thing running on its own fuel system. Okay, let's see if it picks up some fuel on its own. Or if the starter is just gonna stick on. Great. The good news is we picked up fuel. The bad news is as soon as I touch the battery cable to the terminal, it cranks over. I bet it's not the battery cable's fault. I guess we'll go find another solenoid. How could I have possibly screwed that up? Is it backfeeding the ignition? Literally, only thing it could be is a solenoid. Frickin' A. This usually works with GM solenoids. Fixed it. That's way easier to hit than crawling underneath the car. We'll just keep that handy. See if it gets running on its own now. The old fuel filter doesn't even look that crusty. You got power steering fluid? Yeah, right. That'll work. Heck yeah, I think that means our fuel pump's working. We don't have any leaks in the fuel system, so we should be good to go as far as that goes. I'm sure the carburetor is going to need an overhaul, and as soon as we start running it, the fuel pump's going to crap out, but it's working for now. Are you ready to go for an RIDE in a Mustang? Yeah, me too. We know it runs off its own fuel system. Let's see if it'll run off its own electrical system. I'm going to go ahead and hook the starter solenoid back up and the coil back up, and we'll crank it over with the key, and we'll see what happens. Ugh, can't reach. Here we go. But if we give it some hot sauce, it'll light off. And if it doesn't fire off, we know it's an ignition problem because we got fuel and it's cranking over. We know we need power steering fluid. Let's check the radiator fluid or cooling system. Antifreeze, coolant, Prestone. Hey, it's wet, so that's good. We're gonna top it off. Add a little bit in there so that it's at maximum capacity. If it would have been water, it should have froze by now in these North Dakota winters. We got our first storm, and I'm pretty excited about moving snow for 5 hours last night, but that's besides the point. Let's put a little bit more Prestone in there, as the old neighbor used to say when I was growing up. Old Jimmy, always called her Prestone. Dang, about 3/4 of a gallon. Maybe that's what was in that cylinder that was causing it to seize up earlier. Full of coolant. We got a bad head gasket? Hopefully not. Let's throw some gunk by Solder Seal. Power steering fluid in there. Protects against wear. Helps stop squeaks. If you got a squeak in your power steering, it's the belt, and no amount of oil in your reservoir is going to fix your squeak. A wine, maybe it'll help? Yeah. I'm going to hire a wino to help decorate. How does that song go? Oh, we're spilling this for sure. Oh, that's right. Power steering fluid is clear. I always just use ATF. I also always overfill it. Needs more. I also don't buy power steering fluid. This must have came in a vehicle that I bought. Keep out of reach of children. Radiator Specialty Company, Charlotte, North Carolina. Made in USA. Look at this, found another bottle. Specialty AutoGuard heavy duty power steering fluid. Eliminates chatters and leaks. Usually the leak thing is pretty proclaimed, the mechanic in a can. I got a case of this stuff that I picked up from Snooch, the Snooch estate. These guys are out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay, it must have all leaked out. This is like the darkest engine bay ever for some reason. Cannot see what I'm doing. There's that spill I was talking about. Well, we're on the stick. Check with oil hot. How about the brake fluid? Suppose there's any in there? There's gotta be. I mean, disc brakes, they don't just leak out fluid. Survey says they certainly do. We got no brake fluid. None whatsoever. As I stated before, I plan on driving this car distances, so I did order a new brake, so I've got a new master cylinder and hoses and all that stuff. So instead of just trying to get these brakes to work, let's go ahead and throw a new master and calipers on it and brake hoses and go from there. I don't know if we'll go into the wheel cylinders or not, but let's rip this thing apart. Let's go ahead and hit everything with Croil before we even get started. It was bothering me. I'm gonna hire a wino to decorate our home by David Frizzle, or Frizzell. What are you working on over here? Well, cleaning up. So I picked up a front clip off a 51 or 52 Ford. I don't know if it was an F2 or an F3, but anyway, Mojo made it into a wall hanger by cutting her off. Then we put a little bracket so we can hang it on the wall in the new building. Just got some wall art. Putting a headlight and Wally in here, and then just letting Wally and Bernie, everything else thaw out after the storm, right? You think we're going for an RIDE. The roads are way too salty to drive this thing today. Sorry, buddy. Never mind the sweet dually crew cab score bodies in the background. Here's our old one. You'd see it was real dry. Here's the new one. This one's aluminum, so that's gonna be way faster now. Looks like same size diameter, same shape, same bolt pattern, same threads, hopefully. Let's throw it all back together. Oh yeah, that looks real fancy. Left the lines off so that we can bench bleed it on the booster, so we can booster bleed it on the car. And then we'll hook the lines up, but let's go put some calipers on first. I really just want to remove these wire hubcaps and throw them directly in the trash, but they're probably worth tens of dollars to a Mustang collector, so we better hang on to them. You can tell they're Mustang hubcaps by the way that they are. We get some fresh blue brake pads. Those rotors should clean up real good. What kind of silliness does Ford have going on for a bracket for the brake hose? We don't work on a lot of Fords around here, but that is an interesting brake hose end. How are these calipers mounted? A couple of bolts. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. A little lube first. Don't do a lot of work on early Ford disc brakes, so those are kind of some interesting caliper pins. Now we're just gonna pop right out of there, aren't we? Looks like the inside pad stays in there. How do we get that out of there? Well, these fancy little clips here, I guess. No? Come on, meow.
All right, meow.
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 Oh yeah, those are nice. Not even groovy, baby.
Groovy, baby.
Remember when brake pads used to be cool things like Rebestos? Now we got
DFC Dynamic Friction Company 4000. Hybrid dynamics, low dust, low noise characteristics, stable friction performance across a wide temperature range. Designed to deliver a consistent pedal.
Do pads really affect your pedal feel?
Rotor friendly.
Yeah, I bet. They chew up the rotors. I'm sure rotors love these things. 100% asbestos free and copper free formulation. What a deal. And it's got the rubber steel rubber shimming. Wow. Dynamic friction really does it all. How would you like to just design this stuff, these packaging? I just put whatever garbage is on there because whoever reads it other than me. Slotted, where applicable. It's scorched, positive mold, chamfered, where applicable. Wow. Source from top quality suppliers. Yeah, I bet. More like the cheapest people ever. Where are you made at? Well, it causes cancer in California. China.
China.
All right, we're slapping the winged unit on the inside, the Red Bull version.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Go to your home. Oh yeah, these are gonna drag for sure now. Yep, it barely turns. Good enough. And look at these bad boys made by Nugioin. Reman. Nugioin is a registered trademark of the Better Business Bureau Industries LLC. Just kidding, it's the BBB, but probably nothing to do with the Better Business Bureau. Tested, trusted, stopping power. Where are you guys out of? China, for sure. Oh, there's a core charge on this. Got to put it in this box. Product of United States. Well, son of a gun, Nugioin. It comes with new pins and new boots. What a deal. What a deal. Now I guess we got to figure out how to get these rubber boots stuffed into our old bracket. What else we got? Well, let's look. I'm new to the Ford disc brake industry. I don't know what that is. Not going to use it. They gave us two. Some new bolts too. Another couple of not going to uses, and two more not going to use pins. All right, Caliper condoms, you're going away. Not because I don't recommend condoms, but because we got new rubbers. You want to use a fresh rubber on your Mustang. Oh, perfect. Well, that's a thick rubber, and it goes right through the bracket. I would imagine if you didn't run these, you'd get a little chatter action. A little vibration, maybe. Oh, for dumb. There we go. I was just looking at the pin bolts, and I see why it comes with new ones, because they're metric. I presume they weren't using metric on Fords in 1969. All right, the key is not to pinch the rubber. You don't want a pinhole in your rubbers. And lots of lube. Lots of lube on the rubbers. Come on. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, I think I found where we need the clips. We need to clip the brake pad to the caliper. Full of tech tips. The Ford guys are yelling at me. Don't throw your old one away is the first tech tip. So yeah, the pins go through the pad and hold it to the caliper. And then these clips hold the pin in there. I don't know where the other brackets are for, or clips or whatever, but yeah. What a stupid design. I guess I will give it to them. This was like early disc brakes. I think they had disc brakes in 65, 6 for sure. That's some silly 4-piston, dual piston, something piston stuff. Weird stuff. Weirder than this. But anyway, this is probably light years better than that. At least I hope so. This is gonna be impossible to get hooked up. This is gonna take like 11 hands. Let's use the magnetic Mojocraft screwdriver available at mortske.com. Gotta use it to hold the pin in there, otherwise the pin wants to go back. Help me help you. Good news is, in the last 56 years, they've come up with significantly better ways to retain brake pads. Also, I'm sure all the Mustang guys are gonna comment down below, you know they make aftermarket ones that are way better. Yeah, they probably do. They're probably way more expensive too. Good grief. Hopefully they're better than drum brakes. Hopefully they just work. Ow. Oh, it's close. So close. Ow. All right, 13th time's a charm. Good grief. You couldn't just use a C-clip or something? You gotta have these fancy spring clips on there. I don't know what these bolts are for. I'm guessing for the brake hoses. And I still don't know what these are for either. I don't see anything on here. Oh, wait. Those other two clips go right here, and I'm guessing they're held on by those bolts. Yep, those look fine. We're leaving them. All it does is hold the pad in there for jumping out, and it's gravity is gonna hold it in there. It'll be fine. If these clips were busted, I'd replace them, but they're not. Now can we put this together? Guess what? That caliper's for the other side. Nope, bleeder's facing up. 50-50, 90 rule. We beat it this time though. Do we gotta put this on there? Is that really necessary? Or is that just for shipping? I don't know. We'll put it on there anyway. Comment down below if you know if this bracket's supposed to be there. I have no idea. I figure it doesn't need it, but if I don't put it on there now, and then I find out later that I need it, it'll be long gone, and then it'll be problems. So if it gives us problems now, we just take it off. And these are the most metric of metric caliper bolts. 14 millimeter head. I bet this 14 millimeter socket's been used 4 times in its 10-year existence. Really giving ourselves an education on the early Ford disc brakes today. I do thoroughly enjoy brake hoses that transfer fluid through a banjo bolt versus an inverted flare connection, because then you don't have to spin it all the way and you just stick the bolt in there, snug it up, a bada bing, a bada boom. We learned so much exciting stuff about the calipers on a 1969 Ford Mustang. Good experience. Highly recommend it. Get yourself a Mustang. Or don't. Things were going pretty good here on the passenger side until they weren't. You see that ridge right there? And that one right there? Well, that should go the whole way around the rotor. Yeah. I don't know if the wheel studs broke off and that ran in the dirt or how that happens. Or if it's just that thin. Anyway, we're gonna need a rotor, but we're gonna throw it together for now. I think we need some bearings too. Definitely did not order those though. And the reason we might need bearings is because somebody's been running this thing without a dust cap for some time. Ouch. Yeah, those are gonna be no good. We're gonna throw it together for now because I don't have any of those parts. I might have bearings, but no point in putting bearings in a busted up rotor. Oh, so bad. Not a lot of play though. Maybe it'll be fine. There is one new wheel stud in there, so maybe just one of them broke off and got replaced. We may never know. Oh, music to my ears. Rear brake drum looks good, the shoes look good, but while we're in here, we're gonna throw some wheel cylinders in here because I'm sure the rubbers are all dried up and the reservoir was drained out, so I'm guessing that fluid had to go somewhere, and odds are it came out the wheel cylinder. So let's go ahead and throw some new wheel cylinders in the back here. We're gonna throw a brake hose on the rear end while we're at it. Well, these suckers are basically overhauled after that. Oh, that stuff's flammable. Good grief. Got it. It's a good thing we swapped this thing out. Looks like the bleeder was snapped off, so that would have been fun to extract, but actually they don't look that terrible on the inside. Not a lot of Hoover schneef action. Ouch. Good thing I'm wearing my steel toe boots. Check out the sweet Ford script mud flaps. Be a lot cooler if it had like the jumping pony on there, Mustang or a blue oval or back off Yosemite Sam's. Those are classics. There we go. One set of freshly overhauled rear brakes. Wheel cylinders are both in. Look at the size of that hex on that bleeder. Oh yeah, we're gonna be able to get like a 7/16 on that thing. I hate when they come with like a 1/4 inch on there. Those are gonna snap off or round off for sure, but this one should be good for years to come. Thanks, China. Replace the rear brake hose as well. It's got kind of a neat T design, I'll show you in a second, but also put a new breather hose on. That was snapped off and you don't want that getting plugged up because then your axle seals or your pinion seal leak, so that's way more good now. Check this T out. That's an interesting T. Instead of going left to right, there's one port going out the side and one port going out the top. And then it's got this big long bracket coming off it. And the bolt that holds it down is also the breather bolt. And that breather bolt also holds down this bracket for the brake line, so multi-functional. Pretty nifty, Ford. Good job. I really dig the color blue on those shocks. Wish the rest of the car was that color. Probably a Delco color. Speaking of shocks, looks like we got a little rubbage action with our tailpipe. And speaking of tailpipes and rubbing, look at this clamp. She's rubbed a few times. That must be the lowest spot in the car. That thing's hit the ground a few times. Look at all those bends. Good grief. I think that's our cue to put dual exhaust on it. No, not right now. We'll get it running good. And then we'll throw a 4-barrel on it and dual exhaust it. Maybe some headers. Really church this thing up.
Sure, right.
Okay, we're to the point of bleeding brakes, which is my favorite thing to do, which is everybody's favorite thing to do. Anyway, gravity bleeding didn't work, so then we used the bottle with the hose in it and got it pumped up and got the rears bled, and then now it's gravity bleeding up front. And by bleeding, I mean it's making a mess on my floor. It's leaking out this here banjo fitting, so let's take that apart and see what happens. Yes, it is tight, and yes, both the copper washers are on there. What do we got here? Well, it looks like there's a little flaw in the old casting that's not allowing it to seal up. There's a little burr on the casting for the caliper that's catching on our brake hose end, and that's not allowing it to seal. So let's see if we can't remove that. Definitely voiding our warranty. Christ, I think that should be a machine surface, but it's definitely not. And still dripping. I guess let's pull this caliper off, take a better look at it. Dang it, those were made in the USA. So here's the problem. This surface is super rough and it's got to be flat for that copper washer to seal on. So let's touch up the flat disc, see what happens. This is the closest thing we're going to get to a machine surface around this place. It ain't got to be perfect, but it's got to have something for that copper washer to seat up against. We got our leak sealed up, we got our brakes bled. This thing's getting a lot closer to going for its first test drive in 32 years. Today's video is brought to you by Brunt Boots. Head on over to bruntboots.com/mortske10 for $10 off any order over $60. Now let me tell you why we appreciate Brunt Boots around here, not just because they are a video sponsor. Do you work on your feet? Do you like having comfortable feet? Then you need Brunt Boots. Do you like jamming gears and stabbing the gas pedal on your hot rod? Then you need some Brunt Boots. Do you live in a frigid area like Podunk, North Dakota and need to shovel snow in the cold conditions? Get yourself some Brunt Boots. Do you drive a big rig over the road truck? You need some Brunt Boots. Have you always wanted to do a double heel click in work boots? I'm not saying Brunt Boots will help you do it, but we're gonna make Chin try to do it in his. Brunt Boots are also oil resistant, so if you're spilling oil on the floor like we are around here all the time, get yourself some Brunt Boots to help clean it up. Brunt, it's what Chin wears. Do you like climbing up ladders? Brunt makes a shoe for that. Do you like cruising around on wheelchairs but are too lazy to roll with your hands? Brunt Boots work great for that. Do you have a foot-operated trash can? Brunt Boots has got a solution for that.
Yummy! Ah, right.
Not only does Brunt offer boots, they offer all kinds of other workwear, so go check out the website, use the promo code down below, and get yourself some Brunt workwear. Already got all the workwear you need or don't need any workwear at all? Head on over to Brunt. It makes the perfect stocking stuffer for the holiday season. Huge shout out to Brunt for being this week's video sponsor. Now back to your regular scheduled shenanigans. Yes, I know these are Mopar rally wheels, but they're the same bolt pattern, and they got 275/60s on there. I want to see if they'll fit. I know on the 65 Mustangs, you can't get much tire on the front or the rear. So let's test these out, see how they fit. Plenty of room on the inside. We'll have to see when we get her on the ground. Front and back is good. If it sits too low, which I don't think it does, we're gonna have some rubbing issues, I do believe. Who knows? We could go in a little bit. Looks like there's about 1.25 inches in between the leaf springs and the inside of the tire. However, up at the top on the bump stop, she gets pretty tight up there, it looks like. Anyway, that looks good. We're gonna have to get rid of that silly mud flap though. I do like a big tire on a muscle car. I like a big tire on every car, but this is a 215/65 15 Cooper Cobra on the front. Looks like we're gonna have all kinds of room up there. Let's set this little filly down on the ground, see how she looks. Oh, it's gotta come down a bunch in the front. He's like, I don't even want to get close to that thing. You gotta cut some coils up front. Oh yeah, the back, however, is real good. That's not gonna rub unless we get some real big individuals in the back seat and start leaning into some corners. Duff says 275/60 15s fit real well in the back of a 69 Mustang when you use a 15/7 Mopar rally wheel. Yeah. She's tough, huh? Now we just find ourselves some Ford dog dish caps. You really do want to go for an RIDE in this thing, don't you? Let's get a back window in it at least so we can put it outside. Ah, yeah, I love replacing glass. First thing we're gonna do is take out this window surround and save the hardware, not lose that. And then we're gonna clean it all up, and then we're gonna just plop the other one in there with some black Gorilla Tape, because that's what we use for everything, for putting windows in. And like I said, we're gonna make this thing a fastback, so we're definitely not gonna get a new seal. And we're gonna wear gloves so that we don't slice our fingers off, because I enjoy having all 9 7/8 of my digits. This is a pretty slick setup for removal though. Looks like we just gotta take this trim off, which bolts in, and then it pops out of there. Ask me in 15 minutes. All right, you're supposed to pop off of there. Or not. Come on now. Oh, it slides off. Maybe. Oh yeah. I take back that previous statement. Silliness. Pure silliness. Anyway, we're just gonna screw some stuff up and go from there. The old Torino Tony hooked us up with a rear window because he's converted so many of these things from coupes to fastback, and he's a terrible person, so he saves used glass. So thankful he did that. And shout out to Torino Tony for saving us this glass so we can throw in there and fill a hole. So what I did is there's a seal that goes around this. I cut the outside lip off, so this is just gonna drop in there, set in place. We'll throw some tape around it, maybe put those trim pieces back around it, and then that'll keep the big critters out of there, hopefully keep some water out of there, because like I said, this is just temporary. I'm not gonna put a new seal in there if this car is not gonna remain a coupe for the time that it remains in my yard. So that's what's going on. That's why we're cutting corners, literally cutting corners off seals. But we are gonna clean it up before we put it in. All right, now we vacuumed up all that glass. Let's not make another pile of glass. We didn't put that in backwards, did we? It should be, I don't know. 50-50-90 rule. It's concave and convex. It's bubbled out. The writing is left to right. It's vertical. It should be, you should be able to read that little writing in the glass. You know what I'm talking about from the outside, right? Let's carry on here. Let's break the glass with this metal seal pick. Oh, that's crunchy. You don't want to hear crunchy with glass. If only they made such a tool that was not metal. This thing's got to go. It's bent. I think this is what broke the glass the first time. How do you come off? Oh, it damaged that panel down there. So where the glass sits is pushed down. Apparently that's where the rafter hit, right there, and it pushed the metal below it down. All right, I think we're just gonna call that good. Let's definitely pry on this glass with this metal screwdriver. Vinyl top, Not all rusty? Look at that. Is this gonna keep it from flying out? Guess we're gonna find out. How was that held in? Magic? Probably. No guarantees that doesn't come flying out. Seems pretty solid. It's a 302 with a 2-barrel. How fast can it go? It's not like it's going to give us whiplash. Little dent in the roof there from the rafters. Unfortunately, this vinyl top is in way better shape than most. Looks pretty decent to a prospective buyer. Probably wouldn't know the difference other than I didn't get that trim latched on there because I don't know how and I really don't care. Should hopefully keep some of the weather out and the raccoons. I can't get over how good it looks with those big wheels and tires on it. Wheels and tires makes anything look cool, even 69 Mustang coupes. Great Plains and fuel. Since we're back here, let's go ahead and open the old trunk up. What's in there? Ooh, 15-inch spare? 14. So you got air in it? No. What else is in here? Ready mixed Babbitts. Kills mice and rats. Yeah, about that. Oh, there's all kinds of good stuff in here. What's in this bucket? Well, that's probably why it's out of power steering fluid. There's our power steering pump, spare one. Used, of course. Window brackets? So I'm guessing there's issues with the windows rolling up and down. Did I say power steering pump? Yeah, there's 2. And an extra bracket. What else? Tool set? Oh, it's the jack, I bet. In the bag. Did I mention power steering pump? Hopefully those were all the bad ones to find a good one. Looks like armrest. Another window bracket. Another armrest. A couple of jack pads. Marker light. Alternator. Shift indicator. Looks like a defrost duct vent thinger. That's brand new. A shifter. That might indicate we got an issue with that. An extra power steering setup, RAM assist. Just taking a shot in the dark, but the power steering probably sucks on this car. A couple of radio bezels. What's this? Brake parts. We just did those. Oh, wheel cylinder rebuild kits. Perfect. What? Extra carburetor? You know it. 2-barrel auto light. That must be the original one. I think there's a reman on it. Oh yeah, it says D4, so what's that? 74? That's newer. That ain't the right one. Ooh, ignition lock with keys. No keys. I hate storing parts in boxes, but I don't have time to go look for anything better. So let's transfer it to a better box. All right then, nothing too exciting. We got a shifter problem, missing a radio, and some power steering problems, it looks like. And definitely a mouse problem and broken glass. Maybe an HVAC problem and some window problems. Look at that, trunk floor, or fuel tank I was talking about earlier. Super easy to get at. Not all rusty. That's convenient. There's a few other goodies in the car, so let's dig through that stuff. Oh, yes! A K-Site oil filter. How rusty is it, Duff? Yeah, we're not going to be using that. Another radio bezel. Oh, sweet! Another 14-inch wire wheel hubcap that's got the center in it. One of those is missing. Oh, that's the nicest center of all of them. I'm betting these were the deluxe hubcap. Mouse house. Oh, yes. Tarp strap, 2 hooks, and a 5-gallon bucket with brake parts? Son of a... That's why you go through the car before you order stuff. Well, that's an empty brake parts box. A new belt. New 30 years old. New. Ignition switch. Oh, headlight switch. Score. Oh, no. That's the old one. Definitely the old one. Nameplate with attachment parts. Oh, Is it the Mustang script? Oh yeah. Woo! Factory Ford stuff. High dollars. Two of them? Yep. Oh, there's the bearing in the front wheel race for that caliper or rotor. Another wheel bearing. So I'm guessing they were aware of the wheel situation. What else we got? Valve cover gasket. So we know that's leaking. Bumper guard. I want to make my horse noise here, but I won't. No neighing here. Oh! Fuel cap. Oh yeah. That's different than the one that's on here. Another wheel bearing. At least these parts were stored better than the cardboard box stuff in the trunk. Hey! Power steering dipstick. Okay, some good stuff in there. Good spot for it. Ah, gross. I just noticed this. Who puts a speaker in the door? That can't be factory. I guess it improves the serviceability of the window stuff, but don't cut a hole in your door panel for speakers, kids. Well, based on the parts that we found inside of the car and my experience with the shifter, we got an issue. Let's take a look at this thing. So you got this little thumb detent lever on the left-hand side, and that should keep it in park. Anyway, it either doesn't go into park or it just doesn't lock. So let's raise it up in the air and maybe see if we can adjust it so it goes ahead further. That's what I'm wondering, if it doesn't go all the way ahead. And maybe they replaced all this stuff, and those are the old worn-out parts. But I know these things can get sloppy and out of adjustment, so let's take a look. Unless you want to do it. So here's the base of our shifter. I think this is either a light or an indicator or neutral safety switch or something electrical. But anyway, there's some bushings in there, and I actually saw some new bushings inside that bucket in the car. So somebody maybe was intending to replace those, but I don't think that's overly loose. There's an adjustment right here. It looks like it's a 3/8 bolt. We'll loosen that up. And maybe it's not going all the way ahead and getting in that detent. So let's try that first. It's pretty grody and dirty, so I don't think anybody's adjusted it recently. Ow. Don't put your finger in there and get it pinched. And that shifter just does not want to lock ahead. Transmission's in park, shifter's in park, but I shouldn't be able to push that shifter out of park. But I can. Here's one of the shifters that I found inside of the car. See how that, you can't shift it into reverse without pushing the detent. You can't put it into park without pushing the detent. And when it's in park, you can't get it out of park. So something's, so you see how we got all these detents right here? And then there's that little grabby dealio thinger mobobby that lifts up. And then also when you pull it into drive, you got to push the detent button to get her into second and first. So we could just swap this entire shifter out, but let's take a look at the one that's in there. See if we can figure out what's going wrong, because that might be easier. Figured out what the dealio is. That detent flanger thinger is missing from the shifter that was on this car. Oh, and apparently they paid $25 for this shifter. So anyway, we need that detent. Also, this shifter is missing all the electrical, which is just for a light for that indicator, which not a big deal, but I kind of want to have it in there. So we either got to swap this entire handle from that one to this one, but then we need to swap that over. Yeah, because the electrical is all missing out of this one. What's our best plan of attack here? Maybe we can take the guts out of this handle and the guts out of this handle. So I think somebody just ramrodded her one time, because everything's functioning, but that little tab is busted off for the detent. And also because that tab is gone, it doesn't line up in all these detents, so it can go way past park. Really, we could bolt that one straight in there, but we wouldn't have our electrical for our light. You know, we got to have our light for our indicator. Or do we? This thing's all screwed up anyway, so let's see if we can't get the knob off the lever, and then if we can get that off, we can get this shift plate off, and then we can try to get that electrical out of there. Yeah? Yeah. What is that, little tiny Allen screw? All right, there. Do not ask me how that works. Looks like it's a little roller bearing with a cable. Oh, that's pretty nifty. It's got a pivot right there, and it's got a roller wheel right there, and then there's a cable, like a choke cable, that comes all the way through with the end crimped on, and as you push the button, pushes up on that.
That's pretty neat.
Now it looks like there's a little set screw on this collar here, and hopefully if we take that loose, we can slide this off of there. We might have to remove a few other things, but there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Oh yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now we just gotta fish the harness through. So this is a power wire, and I'm guessing this is connected to our lighting circuit. So when you turn the lights on, this lights up. Looks like there's one more screw down in there that we gotta take out for the ground. Oh, we gotta take all that off. That's all missing on our other one anyway. Slide that off of there. Now would be a good time to put a bulb in there, but we're not gonna. That bulb looks good. Doubt I have a 1445 on the shelf anyway. All right, set all that off to the side. Put it all together in this one. Column shifters. You just don't have these problems with those. Oh, this one's different. This one's got the detent. Well, it's got a knob on that side that this one doesn't have. Apparently they can fall apart. I was just gonna put this one on there. Oh, it's got an entirely different shape. Which one's correct? That cover's date coded 69. This one's date coded 69. Very interesting. We're just gonna use whatever looks best and is the cleanest. So we're gonna take everything off of the old one, put it onto the new one, I think. Even though this one's a lot cooler with that little knobby off the side, but this one's got a cooler shape. Let's fish the harness through first. Get our grommet seated in place. Hook our ground strap back up. Just kidding, stripped out. Definitely gonna wanna clean that up before you put it back on. Now we just gotta figure out how to get the T-handle slipped back over. Easier said than done. Seems like it's working. Let's snug it up and we'll double check. Double check for a little detent action. Oh yeah. Perfect. Now we just gotta put it back in the car. One 1969 Ford Mustang shifter overhaul complete. Our shifter's installed, everything's functioning properly just the way it was in 1969. Let's go ahead and check the fluid level in our 8-inch rear differential. Then we're gonna grab our grease gun and hit all the zerks in the front end. And this thing should be about ready to go for a test drive. Dig all the crud out of our plug right here. Use our zip tie dipstick plug. She's right at the top, perfect. Kind of what I expected. The pinion seal isn't leaking. I don't see any oil around the axle seal. So if there's no leaks, it should be full, right? 80-90 just doesn't evaporate. Before I go ahead and grease all these zerks, I'm gonna take a look at everything on the steering and make sure it's all tight. Obviously they were having steering problems, so maybe we'll identify that. Hopefully it's just a leak, or hopefully they already fixed it. This thing came with one belt. I assume it's a power steering belt because that one looks horrendous, but let's go ahead and stick 2 new belts on this thing. That way, We don't have to worry about it overheating because we lost the fan belt. Why does that not loosen up further? Oh, it's because it hits on the oil pressure sender. That's convenient. There you go. Oh, of course. Time for a little more leverage. Oh no. That noise didn't sound good. Well, the whole alternator swung. We'll take it. Did I say the power steering belt was bad? The alternator belt is even worse. And that's why it came with a new Gates 8407. It's been sitting preserved in a 5-gallon bucket for 30 years. It'll be just fine. Alternator belt's on, now we just gotta go scrounge up power steering belt. Let's see if there's a part number on it. There we go. It's a Mighty brand. I didn't know that Mighty brand was even a thing. 15470. We interrupt your regular scheduled shenanigans to bring you this Mortske Minute. This Mortske Minute is on Mighty. Mighty started in 1963 with Dallas Dick Wallace, who had a Volkswagen Beetle. Mighty started as MTY, manufactured to you, where Dick would take his Volkswagen Beetle and he would have tire repair components, patches, wheel weights, valve stems, and that such to tire repair places and bring them straight to them. In 1970, they created their first franchise. Since then, they've went internationally with over 900 locations. Currently, they're based out of Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. And there you go, all the information you never wanted to know about Mighty. I'd actually never heard of Mighty before. So, the more you know. Now back to your regular scheduled shenanigans. There we go, new V-belts installed. That went pretty swell. Didn't snap off any bolts, and that's always a plus. Check this Valance out. She's a little wavy, and I know how much you guys love my English stump action. Let's give you a little before video and some how not to do bodywork tutorial. There's a little crease right there. I'm guessing this has been replaced because that bolt isn't there. It's got a pretty good whammy there. Little guy there, we're not worried about that.
Oh, that little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
Paint's cracked out there. This bumper bracket, see how crooked it is. I can not fit my finger there, and I could fit 2 fingers on that side. And also I'll take the license plate off it, so we're not running around with 32-year-old plates. It's creased on this side as well. Well, not creased, but soft dent there, and then it's definitely creased over here. So I think we just got to take a couple bolts out there. It's bolted to the fender extensions. We'll have to unhook our marker lights, some flat straps, some mount down here. Anyway, oh yeah, Ray Charles welded that bracket on. Let's get that removed and get the old English stump out. Do a little body work. There you have it, one bent up valance removed. Didn't even snap off any hardware. With this front valance off, now's a good time to take a look at this inner structure, see if this car's ever been in a wreck before. First thing you want to take a look at is the frame horns up here, because obviously other than the bumper, that's the first thing to take a hit. And then obviously with the bumper brackets on there, that puts a bunch of leverage on there, so you want to make sure that they're not shifted up or down or in or out. And everything looks pretty good here, and you want to look for welds like they've been cut off or welded on or straightened on, a bunch of wrinkles in there. Everything looks good. I think this is a pretty straight car. Same deal, first thing to hit anything, core support. Make sure this isn't tacoed in a reverse smiley face, or that it ain't pushed in or pushed out. And then there should be some numbers stamped on there, see if it's original one. Obviously there's gonna be some holes for factory brackets and stuff like that. Make sure that's there and that somebody didn't just take a chunk of 2x2 square tubing and put in there, because we've all seen that. This hood latch bracket here, that also holds the Valance. You can see that's got a little bend to her, so hopefully we can get that straightened out and lined back up. All this stuff is pretty light duty stuff up here for that Valance, so that's gonna need to be straightened out. Same deal on this frame horn, everything looks nice and straight, so it's a good wreck-free car. Now let's get to straightening the Valance. We gotta get our body shop set up, so let's wheel the old English stump out into the open. There we go. I think I'm gonna pull this license plate bracket off, and maybe we'll even pull these marker lights out of there just so that they're out of our way. Oh my word, look at these boogered up welds. That is some nice stuff right there. If you can't weld good, weld a lot. Tell you what, anybody who places an order and the dates listed below at mortske.com for some merch, I'm gonna Herbie Hancock the license plates, both front and rear of this car, and you get a chance to get one of those shipped to you. So head on over to mortske.com, check that out. This thing is in surprisingly good shape for being 30 some years old. A good way to get entered for those license plates is to get yourself a Body by Mortske decal, available at mortske.com. Now let's get to beating on this Valance. I don't even know where to start. This corner seems the worst, so do we start there? Sure, why not? Safety third, kids. I'm gonna get some earplugs. We did a little planishing hammer action. I think we got most of that out, roughed in anyway. Let's just keep working over. Got a little hail damage going on there, but otherwise, we got her pretty decent. Maybe we'll run that through the planishing hammer and see if we can't take a few of them wrinkles out of there. We got all the little wrinkles out, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm probably just stretching the hell out of this panel. But anyway, let's throw it back on there. Hopefully it's better than it was. Got her installed back on there. The one downfall of the planishing hammer is it pretty much takes all the paint off, but looks a lot better than it did. I'm gonna leave the license plate bracket off the front because we're not required to have a license plate on classics in my state. And I couldn't get the marker light back on because the tabs are busted and stripped out. And there was a couple in that tote back there, or parts that came with the car, and of course, they're screwed up as well. Must be common. But you know, if you got a banged up Valance like this, you know how you make it so it's less noticeable? Yeah, you know. We're gonna lower this thing. Let's cut a coil, see how she sits. Get her down further so you don't even see that Valance. Measured the ride height through the center of the wheel to the bottom of the fender lip is 27¼ on this side, 27 3/8 on that side. We're gonna cut one whole coil out of here, and we'll see what happens. The nice part about this suspension setup is that it's super easy to get at. It's not in between the control arms. It's just sitting right up top here. Here we go. Try not to burn our car to the ground. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Don't burn the shop down or melt your 1969 Mustang to the ground. Oh, she's soft. We might need some heavier springs or maybe some shocks. But she looks good. Let's take some measurements. Trino Tony says one coil is good for 1.5 inches of drop. But is he measuring it from the center of the wheel? Is he measuring it on the front of the bumper? Who knows? So if we went 1.5 inches, it should be 25 3/4 over here. Ooh. 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 I'm gonna call it 24 7/8. That's 2 3/8 inches of drop. Perfect. This side is 27 3/8. I got 25 to the bottom of the fender right at the center of the wheel, so we got 2 3/8 on both sides. So it's as level as it was when we started. And it's a whole lot cooler looking. Look at how we got her spun around. Only took 3 quarts of ATF. And the transmission is finally working, and the power steering works as well. And it's not pouring right out on the floor. So I don't know if they fixed the power steering or what, but did a little cleaning. Check this out. It's not too bad. It's actually semi-respectable inside of this thing. I mean, it could definitely use a lot more cleaning, but I think we give her the old Armor All wipe down and should be good to go. And remember how it was running terribly? And remember how it had a new distributor cap? Yeah, that's right. The wires on 6 and 7 are swapped around. And I could have done it when I was pulling the spark plugs out, but I figured that out by pulling every wire off, and I found out 6 and 7 it wasn't running on. And so I went and checked the firing order, because I don't know what the firing order is on a 302 Ford by heart. Flipped them around, ran like a champ. My heart sank a little bit when I pulled number 7 off, and it was misfiring on that one, because that was the one that had all the rust in it. But listen to this baby purr now. Fires right up. That is a healthy 302. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up on this 1969 Mustang coupe. If you wanna own this thing, $6,500. I've looked at a handful of these things. This thing is super solid, super complete. It wouldn't take much to make it a driver. I got the fuel tank here, sending unit's gonna be here. Once we get those in it, we'll be able to take it for a drive. But the fuel tank right now, there's too much rust. And it's also like 8 degrees outside, so I really don't want to be stranded on the side of the road when it's this cold, and I'm sure the heater does not work. Anyway, hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com if you want to own this coupe, make it yours. Or if we don't sell it, hopefully we cut the roof off and make it into a fastback, which is what I want to do, but I'll pass it on to somebody else because I know everybody's going to cry about it. Well, you can't cut that up. Well, if you buy it, I can't cut it up, so $6,500. Show up with some cash. Take her home. This thing's a whole lot better than it was. It's got fresh brakes, it's got exhaust, it's got a new battery in it, some new belts. It's got a fresh tune-up in it from 1993. It's got some fresh tires on it. This thing's pretty good. Clean up the interior, throw a new seal around the rear window, maybe find a couple of pieces of trim and that marker light, all that good stuff, and this thing can make a pretty dang good driver. Throw a radio in it, but anyway, I think we're done with this thing. But before that, go check out mortske.com. Hot off the press, we got calendars. Show them, Duff. We got the 4-wheel drive poncho on there. We got any of you in there, Duff? I'm sure you're in one of them, aren't you? We got Bernie. We got all kinds of goodies. Go check it out, mortske.com. And I tell you what, for every person who buys a shirt, t-shirt, sweatshirt, whatever, on the dates listed below, we're gonna throw a 2026 calendar in there. I think it's also got January 27. That's right. It's got the Roadsters on there. So head on over to mortske.com. Check out all the deals we got going on over there. We got ball caps, beanie caps. We got all your cold weather gear. We got flannels and hoodies, all that good stuff. We got super scrapers in stock. So check it out, mortske.com. For every shirt ordered for the next week, dates listed below, you're gonna get yourself a 2026 calendar, the first year of the calendar's limited edition. Ooh, it's got the riv. We gotta work on that. Also, I got a couple of license plates with my Herbie Hancock on it off of this car that we're gonna throw in with a couple of orders from mortske.com. So head on over there. It's the best way to support the channel. Otherwise, leaving a comment, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. That works as well. So thank you very much for watching. And remember, it doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you're having fun. Mustangs. I don't want to admit it, but they're kind of fun. This thing looks way better now with some steelies and lowered a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty good. Helps that it's got glass in it, right, Duff? All right, we're gonna go find a spot to hang our new calendar. On to the next one. post-video update. I'm gonna roll up the window so we can take this thing outside, and guess what doesn't go up? Figured out what all those parts were for in the trunk. Yeah, Ford's window regulator design is terrible. Also, DB took the old Sweet Patina hand wipes. They work great for cleaning interior and gives it that nice orange smell. Cleans up really good. Head on over to Sweet Patina, use promo code MR80. Never mind this thing back here. I know, no ride.